Why are you so red, Jeff?
Got a sunburn. Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain world? You know who you are. You guys, you guy over there sitting there with your phone, and you guy there watching on your 85-inch TV in your living room, and you the one watching on your PC. There's only one watching on the PC. Tonight, game changer, Chip. It is game changer, question mark. Is it game changer? Is Ripple's RLUSD the future of finance? And then what is the future of XRA? That's what I would like to know. We talked about it. We're going to workshop it a little bit more. There's a few commentaries in and around this topic. I'd love to hear your feedback. Give a quick shout out where you guys are tuning in from, because we'd like to see far and wide, whether you're here in our backyard in Florida, down in Miami or northern Florida, which are quite a few of you, all the way out to the left coast, and then across the oceans from Europe to Africa to Asia and beyond.
All over the place, Jeff, really.
All over the place is the point.
Really all over the place. All over the world.
All over the world.
All over the great flat earth. Let's go. You ready?
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to On the Chain, everybody. Drop where you're coming in from, like Jeff said. Let's not delay this any longer. Mike says coffee. It's a good way to start it off. Good day, lurkers. Out on the beach. What's going on? Everybody's in here. Good afternoon from Dundalk,
Maryland. I've never heard of that place.
Steve Willits is in Yowie land. That's where the Yowies live. They live down under.
We know where that is.
They live in the tundra.
You know what they don't have in Yowie land? Kangaroos.
And type in Yeti, people. Yeti. Type in Yeti.
They're made up.
Yeti.
I don't think they really exist. Kangaroos.
Like, you know what day it is? Yeah, it's the same day. It's Trump Day.
It is Trump Day.
That's not Hump Day. It's Trump Day. Trump Day every day. That's
Chardonnay and celebration. Bronx, New York City.
Antwerp in the house.
There you go. Look at that badass Yeti.
Probably in the house. We got 5 Yetis already. This is a new one. John Page, Australia.
Record.
Second biggest audience is Australia. Hawthorne. Beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
It really is, for real.
Beautiful in Hawthorne. Beautiful. Love it up there. Yes, indeed. Well, Jeff, there's a lot of stuff going on as usual. We're not going to talk about most of it. We'll talk about some of it.
Any of it.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just talk about the Yetis. Got another banger lined up today. Another one. Another badass Yeti.
I feel like playing it already. I feel like we got to play it. But
I'm feeling like the Blue Tribe. Just a hunch.
The Blue Tribe.
A Blue Tribe. A Blue Tribby.
The Blue Tribby.
Blue Tribby.
Yeti.
Can never say
it's going to be epic.
Epic. Epic.
Epic.
Like what's that? Epic.
There's only a couple that come out epic. The Blue Tribby.
I use that program to make so many songs, and it never mispronounces any word. And you know what? But you know what it does pronounce well? It always pronounces the name better than we can for some reason.
Pronounces the name with like a Norwegian accent.
There's just vowels missing. There's no vowels in there. It's like,
and it pronounces it perfect spot on.
But like, and it says the name perfect. You're like, okay, but you can't pronounce epic
or tribe. Trib. I went through 8 songs today and they messed up tribe.
I wait for this every day. Good evening, gentle dude. I love being a gentle dude. I love it. I love being a gentle dude. Epoch. That's what we have to do. Epoch. Is it epic?
It's epoch.
Is it risky? No, it's epic. It's
epoch.
It's an epoch. You got Ray the Muss in here.
Epoch Times. How do you pronounce Epoch Times? Is it Epic Times?
What about XRP Treasury Sanctuary? Say that 3 times fast.
That's right. We need an XRP Treasury Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Sanka.
Sanctuary.
Remember that coffee Sanka? It was like freeze. It's freeze dried. It's like, oh, what does that mean? It means it tastes horrible. That's what
Welp is taking painkillers. Man, I've been suffering
from that surgery. Is it from that surgery you had recently?
What kind of surgery?
Well, if you don't make it to the end of the show, nobody will know. You wake up tomorrow morning, you'd be like, hey, but it is late there. It's 1 in the morning. 1:30.
Question. The question I want to know is Flatliners stream's going to make it?
Yeah. It's splitting two of the same coin there, Jeff. Flatliners will make it the whole way, but not
Make it the whole way, but not crypto wealth.
Crypto wealth. Not gonna make it. Not gonna make it. Not gonna make it.
Right.
Not gonna make it. Let's jump into some news here. Here's some news from Uler Labs. Euler, not Bueller. Bueller, not to be conflicted with Ferris Bueller. Ferris Uler Labs. Euler. We'll call it Euler Labs. I have a greatest name ever. We'll call it Euler Labs. It's the lending super app. Okay. So Ripple's institutional grade stablecoin, the Ripple USD, is live on Euler. Users can borrow, lend, or use it as collateral. Incentives are now available for lenders. What do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea. Let's go through this again.
With that, let's check it. Let's check on the mic.
See if
Boy, this is coming. This is taking a long time to load here.
What's crashed?
There it is. So this is over on Euler. There it is. 21 million supply.
Wow.
21% APY. What? How's that possible?
I don't know.
1.39% yield from lending. So you make only you can make 4% on your flare, basically. I think it's like
supply. Wait, 4%. What does that mean? What is APY supply? 21%.
No idea. I don't know what that means.
Never heard of supply APY.
The rewards APY is plus 19%. I guess plus the 1.3. I guess that's a promotion thing because it ends on June 4th, 2025. The 19%. I don't know what that is. So if you lend it, is that what you
yield from lending?
Yield? Who knows?
Let's see. Statistics. Dynamic range. There's a basket of stable coinage.
There it is.
Daily rewards, $11,916 already. Huh. So it's 21% supply.
But that's in a year. So what does that come out to be like in a few days? It's a lot less. If it's not 20%, right?
But 19% is a nice return.
Yeah, but that's on a year. That's not over a course of a year.
Yeah, but still 19% return.
Well, if it's going to end, but if it says here it's going to actually end in on what is it? There, you see what it says right there? It says ends June 4th. So it must be a promotional thing they're doing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Uler DAO is the governor and the gauntlet. So there you go.
Two governor.
This is the governor. Hello, governor.
The governor.
G'day. There we go. That's what they have.
Wow, 8.9 million was borrowed. That's impressive. It's
a lending app.
Huh.
So there you go. You can use that as collateral. You can lend out your RLUSD. It's got a bunch of other stuff, like a lot of chain link on there too. Holy cow. I'm
not sure where Chad Nauseum is factoring in on this. He said carry the one and get rugged. I'm not sure if he's commenting to that or what.
Carry that one. Carry the one and get rugged. There you go.
Sounds a little fishy.
Says it sounds fishy.
Davey X. Badass Yeti coffee is awesomely delicious.
Is it time to play that badass? Hang on a second. Let me pull this up. I think it might be time, Jeff. Hang on a second. Let me pull up the wait a minute. What is going on here, people? Here it is. Get the Badass Yeti tune ready. I'm gonna pull that up on
okay.
Share this. Go ahead, pull it up.
Wait. Oh, wait, this isn't it. I got the wrong one. Hang on a second. There we go.
The roasted beans
there we go.
Straight to your cave monthly without burning your wallet. No fluff, no fads, just fucking great coffee. Hand-picked, small batch, roasted, Yeti approved. Ho to join the rebellion. Drink like a legend. Badass YETIScoffee.com.
Yeti.
The percolation never stops.
Hell yeah. It's good coffee, man. Thank you for the cue there. And just
Nice.
for people that want to try this, if you've never had freshly roasted beans, most of you have never had it unless you visit a roastery. It's highly unlikely. But thank you for calling that out, DavyX, and thank you for the awesome support, man. Appreciate that. But I threw it in there. Badass Yeti coffee. There's going to be big things going on in the Badass Yeti universe. Badass Yeti is going to be changing.
Colin Hughes. Badass
And,
Yetis is changing.
It is going to be changing. We're going to be changing to a little bit of brand swapping. But the Noir Symphony here, you can get the whole bean, which is what we recommend. But you can also get a coarse ground, fine ground, or a drip ground. Whole big description on here about the difference between all of those. And there you have it. So there's go ahead and buy this stuff and you're ready to rock. It's awesome, dude.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good, dude.
Yes.
Very good indeed. So
Indeed.
So
Under your
I
tongue.
want to put a bean under your tongue. Wow. Yeah, on your tongue, I think you meant to say it. You want a treat. It is, man, it is so good. It really is.
I love eating the beans right out of the bag. It's like a snack. They're perfect.
Yeah, and you got that oil still on them because they were just roasted.
Oh,
You're getting it within a couple of days of roast, people. Not sitting on a shelf for 6 to 12 months. Those things are so dry. You try to break it, you can't even. When it finally breaks, it's like dust comes out. Yeah. Sorry, man. Coffee snob over here. Brad Garlinghouse. Jeff, I got to get your take on this because this one here was like miffed me all the way. And the follow-up from Chris Larson was something too. But here we go. Brad Garlinghouse says, the CEO of Ripple says the skull of Satoshi was originally built to call attention to blockchain energy usage. And today it's a symbol and reminder of Bitcoin's incredible staying power to so many around the world, including me. Now, this is one hell of a spin job right here.
Yeah.
This is beyond spinning. This is hijacking. As crypto and blockchain technologies become widely used, respected, and understood, it's past time that we set aside our differences, but wait till you see what he's talking about, and then work together to move the industry forward. I hope this gesture continues to remind folks that we, Bitcoin and XRP and other crypto communities, have way more in common than we think. So Bitcoin Conference put this out. Special guest at Bitcoin 2025, Skull of Satoshi, donated by Ripple to the Bitcoin community. The skull will now have a permanent home at the Bitcoin Museum in Nashville. Now, there are the nuclear power stacks on top of this thing.
Oh my God!
There are the computer chips with the glowing eyes, with the Bitcoin eyes.
That's awesome.
Nothing but freaking wires and power shit coming out the bottom.
That's really awesome.
Now, I mean, how are you going to spin this?
I love it.
It's a bad spin job there, man. It's a really bad call there. So let's go to the artist that built this, and this is Von Wong. He says, I built an 11-foot skull covered in e-waste to expose Bitcoin's impact on climate change. Womp, 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 womp. So this was the whole thing was about this. So he built this thing. He was trying to showcase, the whole idea of climate change. But you want to know who sponsored this? Who co-sponsored this whole thing?
Sponsored it.
Yeah. So this guy built it, right? But Ripple didn't commission him originally to build it because he was working with, here it is. There they are putting it together. It's got a wood frame. He's kind of showing you the piece by piece of, there's all the computer circuit boards that they covered it with. I mean, it does look badass and it looks crazy.
It's so badass.
And, but they partnered with Greenpeace because they were trying to, so the whole idea was like this woke reason because they wanted the whole idea of energy usage and all this other stuff. I mean, now it looks cool in these pictures.
It looks really kick-ass. I love it, especially with that background.
Puking out all the stuff there. And so, yeah, I guess Ripple donated it. I don't know if they purchased it, but look at that, dude. It looks like it's insane.
So kick-ass.
It's
the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, so there you have it. Tell you about that. That's it. So this was all created because for climate change. So I mean, okay, there you have it. So the spin job, and then as Garlinghouse says here, it
They
was
have
he says it was originally. He doesn't mention anything about the whole climate change thing. He says it was originally called attention to blockchain's energy usage, and today it's a symbol and reminder of Bitcoin's incredible staying power. Okay, I mean, I don't know if I call attention to myself at this. I would just leave it at like, hey, this is something cool. But then you start digging into it, you realize it's about climate change and all this other BS garbage stuff. And I was like, we're
I thought we were beyond that.
an initial dig though. I don't know, man. It just seems it's not the right movement. It's just
I think it's hilarious. I think it's awesome. It's perfect at the Bitcoin conference because it looks kick ass.
yeah, the whole idea behind it. And now Chris Larson, who is the founder, and what is he now? He's the co-founder, executive chairman of Ripple. We know he's Mr. San Francisco woke. At least Garlinghouse is MAGA. He says in early 2023, when I funded the Change to Code campaign, that was against member Bitcoin. We talked about that here. My goal was to see if there was a way to turn Bitcoin into an accelerator for direct air capture. Dude, what? The campaign didn't work. Well, shockingly, what the hell is an accelerator for direct air capture? Remember the direct air capture that he funded, which takes and makes gasoline fuel out of the air? Is that what he's talking about? Is that what he's talking about?
Is that what it was? I don't know.
I mean, he funded that campaign. He said the campaign didn't work, and that's okay. No, Ripple did not fund this campaign. It was him personally, Chris Larson. He wants to make that distinction. Doesn't want a whole bunch of hate coming at him because everyone's going to be calling him crazy and woke. Bitcoin's energy transition over the last couple of years has been remarkable, using over 50% renewable energy sources, including hydropower, wind, and nuclear, per a recent Cambridge study, and often using trapped or flared gas, which would otherwise be wasted.
Yep.
Well, Jeff, our original assertion about the whole idea of the power, they're acting like Bitcoin is taking the power and other people are suffering because Bitcoin is taking the power. That's not the case. Now, if Bitcoin doesn't use the power goes unused. It goes unmonetized. You're not selling the power anymore. So this whole notion of like, who gives a crap how much power Bitcoin uses? Bitcoin's an energy hog, and it uses more than some of 5 smaller nations put together. So, and he's making the point right here. Why would you even go after it in the first place when he says when he says that it uses like trapped or flared gas? When they have that, they turn that into power.
They found all sorts of mechanisms.
Yeah, you got Bukele down in El Salvador, and he's using volcano power to power Bitcoin and do mining. He's turning that into power. So he's saying, I'm glad to see Scully, I guess they named it Scully, back out in the world, serving as a reminder to environmental stewardship and innovation.
That was made a while ago.
Yeah, that's what we have it. So that'll be at the Bitcoin Museum in.
So cool.
In I like how it has the glowing eyes. Those photos looked amazing though. The way they had
so
that.
Cool.
What was that? Did I close that? It's here. Yeah, that.
You know what it needed in the background while we're looking at those images. Look at that.
Glowing eyes. Terminator. Glowing eyes. Wow. Look, he's looking for the badass Yetis.
That's right. You're in the tundra.
But you ain't gonna find the badass Yetis there.
No, I don't really like water too much. You prefer mountains.
Look at that frame they had it built though for the. Oh, how cool is that?
It's really impressive. Super, super impressive.
Stacks on top of the head. I wonder what that cost it took to make. Look at all that, and all those circuit boards.
Oh yeah.
That they have to cover it with. Man.
Like art is art.
Oh, I love it as an art piece. The whole idea of the power thing and the whole Greenpeace thing is a little bit much for me.
Yeah, it was over the top.
And they actually built it
in the early days.
He built it to come apart so that they could take it on the road. Like, apparently, it's gonna. But all that smoke and dust, and look at that.
It's so cool. People love it. Like, hell yeah, Bitcoin, bitches.
Yeah, look at that. See, campaign collaborator, Greenpeace. So I wonder how it ended up that Ripple donated. Did they purchase it from him? Like, that's what I have. I wasn't able to find like how that came to be, because it was a Greenpeace funded project, I believe. So I don't know how Ripple ended up donating it. I don't actually know how that actually happened.
Must have been a support, acquisition, rental. Who knows?
Well, they donated it to the museum. The Ripple said they donated it. So, like, did they?
Maybe they purchased it.
They must have. They must have purchased it at some point, right? I would think. Who knows?
Chad says, answering the question, what would you do with the FU money? You'd commission a freaking skull of Satoshi. That's what you're gonna do, with light up eyes and smokestacks, freaking working circuit boards. Oh yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
Now the funny part about that is, like, you think, like, let me look at. I always go through the comments. Like, let me look through the comments and see if anybody said anything to Larson, because those are going to be funny, right? He's like, hey, listen, dude, this wasn't a Ripple funded project. I personally, and so Niraj Agarwal says, hey, the change the code website is still up. It doesn't mention anything about direct air capture. The campaign's goal was to get Bitcoin to switch to proof of stake. Of course it was. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was the whole thing behind it, because of the energy usage. So he posted the screenshot.
I don't remember what the direct air capture is. Still don't.
I don't know. I've never heard of what he's talking about. That it's like he says right there. And then Chris Larson says, yeah, hi Niraj, fair point. I'll check on the website. Here's what I talked about Bitcoin being able to be used for direct air capture in 2022 if there was an update to POW. Bitcoin's mining infrastructure is remarkable. What if instead of emitting carbon, proof of work was updated where miners suck carbon out of the atmosphere? Proof of work is brilliant.
I understand what he's talking about.
No doubt about it. But that doesn't mean it can't be improved. So you suck the carbon
I don't know how
out.
that would work.
You'd get fake carbon credit stuff.
I don't understand this whole thing. Why people want to get rid of CO2 in the environment. Trees and plants proliferate based on the CO2 in the environment. They need it. And there's this guy gave this amazing presentation about it, and he talks about the amount of CO2 in the environment. If it changes and drops by this really small percentage, all life on Earth plants will start dying off. So you need CO2 in the environment. Every time they try to change something within the environment, it backfires on them, and they can't control Mother Nature. We can stop dumping nuclear waste in streams and garbage and chemicals, because that's not human nature. It's not Mother Nature. It wasn't intended to have those types of chemicals floating around our waterways. We don't have to put, nuclear waste in canisters that go into the ground that end up leaking into the groundwater. That's bad. But at the same time, we can control everything. We can't control everything within the environment. And CO2, there's more CO2 coming out of volcano eruptions and everything else that's happening around the world. There was significantly more, CO2 pumped out, pre motor vehicle, etc. So that's what Sober's saying the same. How much sulfur dioxide in a volcano, Chad? Without CO2, we all die. Full stop.
Right, and real scientists have proven it's a bunch of BS. Horses. They want to be able to sell you. It's a new way to tax. We're going to sell you carbon credits while they fly around in their jets all over the world, but they want you to get carbon credits for your work. It's a clever way to tax. I wanted to put this up. I already says, thanks, Mike Marath. I've got to get some badass Yetis K-Cups. Now, we don't have the K-Cups available, and we can make them available. However, they're a little bit more costly for what you get. But I will tell you what I do. You go on Amazon, you can buy these plastic cups. Okay. They fit in your K-Cup. They're plastic reusable. You can get like 10 for, I don't know, or 5 or 6 for like $10, right? Then you can buy the coffee filters that go inside of those. I always recommend using the filters for those. What I do is, because it's convenient and I want to just brew one cup, what I'll do is I'll take my grinder, I'll grind up just enough, fresh grind it, so you get the fresh ground beans. I fill it up. I got a little, I got this little cool little scoop. You can buy these too. It's a little scoop. You grab it, and it's just it fills up the cup perfect. You just and fills it right to the top.
You have the metal ones or the plastic ones?
I don't like the metal ones. I tried the metal ones. I don't like those. But
You don't like the metal ones?
No, I don't like them as much as the plastic ones, believe it or not.
All right.
The metal ones are okay. The ones I tried, I didn't care for. Close the thing, throw it in your K-cup maker. This way, that bag of coffee will go a long way. And the K-cups, they're just not economical enough to where Jeff and I feel like selling them. Like you would get like 10 K-cups or 12 for way too much money for 12 cups of coffee, where you can get a hell of a lot more out of the bag. And always get the raw bean, or not the bean, grind it and put it in those little K-cups, man. And if you want, put a little Tupperware container, grind a couple for a couple days. I wouldn't do that. I like grind it fresh, but if you're pressed for that, then you just fill them up. It surprisingly works amazingly well, and it tastes delicious, man. There we go. Very good. Yeah, man. That's the way to travel. You got to make it so that it works for you guys, and the taste delish. Stuart Alderati, General Counsel over at Ripple, he said today's Ripple submitted an additional letter to the SEC's crypto task force addressing a key question from Commissioner Purse's new paradigm speech. When does a digital asset separate from an investment contract? We appreciate the continued engagement with the task force. I mean, sucking up to this imaginary task force that was just created for who knows what reason. We're a different SEC. We're pro crypto. Let's create a task force. So dumb. Look at those, like as dumb as those balloons, Jeff, that were just going up. Those dumb balloons. See? Let's start the celebration. Boom. Fireworks. So, I mean, here it is right here. Here's the crypto task force. You can see it, and there it is. Dear members, esteemed members of the SEC crypto, imaginary crypto task force, which is better than the old Gensler task force because we are going to look at crypto non-regulation differently. Thank you for meeting with us on May 20th. Following our conversation in light of Commissioner Purse's new paradigm speech, we believe the analysis by Lewis Cohen et al. An electable modality of securities law, why fungible crypto assets are not securities. I try to get Lewis on the show. He's a really good dude. He was going to come on. We just couldn't sync schedules, but I'd still love to get him on here because this book is badass. Remains the most accurate reflection of existing laws. They explain there's no current basis in the law relating to investment contracts to classify most fungible crypto assets as securities when transferred in secondary transactions because the investment contract transaction is generally not present, and these assets neither create nor represent the necessary cognizable legal relationship between an identifiable legal entity on the one hand and the owner of the crypto asset on the other. That is the hallmark of security. This view was reinforced by Judge Torres's ruling in SEC v. Ripple. Blah, 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 sufficiently decentralized risks, blah, 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 where fact-specific analysis is required, blah, 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 to the extent the gap in the existing law, blah, 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 blah. We appreciate the opportunity to continue this dialogue in this massive, over-bloated 4-page letter that just says, good luck to you people. I don't know what this says, but Stu signed it, Samir Dong, General Counsel of Ripple, and he's the chief legal officer. He's not general. He's the chief legal officer. That Samir Don is the other one of Deborah McCrimson. And there you have it. There's the letter. Big deal. Man. Nobody cares. What? That's what it is.
By the way, it's 1-0 Carolina over Panthers in the first period. 2 minutes and 32 seconds left remaining in the first, and it's currently 1-0.
What a where it is.
It's 3-1 for the series. The Panthers really should have taken the game last on
2 nights ago,
Monday night, but now they're here.
They're letting them battle back. If they let them lose tonight, it'll be 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. Then it's getting way too close.
Win 3 in a row, and it's 3-3. Then they just destroy them 6-0. Here's our speaker, Mike Johnson. Elon Musk today said his time as a special government employee has ended. He wishes the Doge team will continue success, and he needs to go back to running his companies. Elon Musk and the entire Doge team have done incredible work exposing waste, fraud, abuse across the federal government, from the insanity of the USAID's spending to finding over 12 million people on Social Security who are over 120 years old. Meanwhile, people in your own family, your grandmother, she barely get her, check, but people there were how much, 12 million people, and there were people that were 120 years old, but nobody I wonder if that's real. I wonder if that's how many people are old. The House is eager and ready to act on Doge's findings so we can deliver even more cuts to the big government. The president wants and the American people demand more cuts to the big government, I should say.
Right.
We will do that in two ways. First, when the White House sends its rescission package to the House, we will act quickly by passing legislation to codify the cuts, because there's a lot of things going around that Elon Musk was disappointed that they're not this big beautiful spending bill, this appropriations bill. You cannot put unnecessary spending in it, so all this stuff can't go in there. So what Mike Johnson is clarifying here is that once this other goes through, they will codify, make all these Doge cuts permanent, and the House will use the appropriations process to swiftly implement Trump's 2026 budget. So he's distinguishing between the two. I know a lot of people got it wrong, and even people who should know better. A lot of people should know better, but thanks to people like Stephen Miller and also, the speaker, we kind of know how this goes. So in the meantime, we've been working around the clock as we prepare for these processes. The House made sure to build on Doge's success within the one big beautiful bill. Stephen Miller has made an important point about the two efforts. Doge found savings in discretionary spending, such as funding agencies, while our one big beautiful bill secured over 1.6 trillion in savings and mandatory spending, such as Medicaid. Both are historic. Both take huge steps towards addressing our debt and deficit. So thank God for Stephen Miller, man. I'll never forget in 2015 or 2016, the second Trump rally I attended. First one was in 2013. But the second Trump rally that I attended, I remember Stephen Miller got up and spoke, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because I didn't know who Stephen Miller was. We never heard his name before, but he got up there and he just kicked ass on stage.
Oh yeah.
When I saw him, and I was like, dude, who is this guy? And then he's way more out in front in this administration, but he's always been that dude with this. He's written, what speech writer. He's done all kinds of stuff. He's brilliant. And so I remember the first time seeing him up on stage, they had, Gold Star families and mothers and special speakers. But Stephen Miller was one of those speakers, and I was very impressed with the speech he gave and how he talked about Trump. He's been very, it's been huge
He's solid.
He's a good dude, as I like to say. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
2-0, by the way. They did score again.
Wow. They just don't give a shit, apparently.
And the first is coming to an end.
So here's this. Jeff, you want to talk about some spin? Listen to this spin right here. This spin is like brutal spin. This is the South African president. Listen to this.
And when it comes to the issues of arresting anyone for any slogan, that is a sovereign issue. It's not a matter where we need to be instructed by anyone that go and arrest this one. We are a very proud sovereign country that has its own laws, that has its own processes, and we take into account what the Constitutional Court also decided when it said that, that slogan, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, is a liberation chant and slogan. It's not meant to be a message that elicits or calls upon anyone to go and be killed. And that is what our court decided. So they will probably want to arrest people willy-nilly. We follow the dictates of our constitution because we are a constitutional state and we are a country where freedom of expression is the bedrock of our constitutional.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, that's some constitution. So kill the Boer, kill the white farmer. It's a rally cry, Jeff. Doesn't mean go kill people, even though known leaders are out there chanting it. It's just a cry, dude. It's just a rally cry. It doesn't mean like I thought the Garlinghouse spin and you know was something. This is some serious spin. And then our Constitution permits, and now I get free speech and all that stuff, but when you're chanting to and people are chanting kill the boar, kill the white farmer, it seems a little bit excessive. It seems like, well, maybe you should take them seriously. No, just freedom of speech. It's based in their constitution. They're a sovereign country and they can do whatever they want. It's basically what he's saying there. So I was
exactly
somewhat somewhat shocked by that. I was like, that's very interesting. Here's Charles Hoskinson. So Crypto Eddie found this gem. She found this gem and she put this up. And so I give her all the credit on this one.
Wait, before we play that, we got to take a quick commercial break and then we can get back into it. Bottom of the hour. How many Yetis do we have, by the way?
We only have 14 in the drawing right now.
14 in the drawing. So we're going to double that number. Here we go. We're going to play this and we're going to double that number. Here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Here we go.
With a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe. Word of the day, Yeti, you got your Zaman wallet ready. Why? 'Cause this is gonna be epic. It's time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe Yeti of the clan Frostbeards. His name, Yogan. Let's go. On the chain, badass Yetis born for battle, made for legend claim. Yours all be forgotten. On the chain, badass Yetis born for battle, made for legend claim. Yours all be forgotten.
Yeah. I was grooving to that, Jeff.
Right? I like that one.
Yeah, like the beginning. Battle Yeti. That's great, dude. Love that guitar. That was some good stuff. Holy cow, guys! We're up to 15. All that and one more.
All that for one more? Come
Man,
on.
you guys are weaklings. You guys are too much. Well, someone has a 1 in 15 chance. If you, the thing is, if you type Yeti once, you can type it 100 times. It only records it once, so that doesn't help you if you record it multiple times, as it only sees it the once, which is probably I see a lot of people typing Yeti, but they already did type Yeti, so no big deal. But Crypto Ari, can you see me? Yeah, we see you.
We see you. And
Yeah, we see you. You see us?
They see us?
Yeah, we see you. Art Yeti. Yep. That's soundtrack worthy right there. Yeah, Yeti. That is soundtrack. That's like a soundtrack for a game.
That'd be pretty
Okay,
kick-ass.
so here we go, Jeff. This is going to be Crypto Eddie. She found this little gem about Hoskinson talking about Bitcoin. Also mentions XRP in here, but right around the 1 minute mark is where he drops the bomb. Let's see if you guys know what that is here. Let's listen.
You look at the competitive landscape, I say, okay, where is going to be the big growth in terms of TVL transaction volume and overall utilization of these networks? It's going to be Bitcoin DeFi and it's going to be real world assets. Those are the two things that are just going to be huge. So Bitcoin DeFi is 4 times larger at its peak than Solana and Ethereum combined, like the whole market caps combined, if you think about the ratios. So because of Taproot, it's starting to turn on, and you need companion compute layers like Stacks or Cardano or these things to be able to run all those transactions that are secured by Bitcoin. And what's nice is if you put them together in just the right way, we'll see a larger and larger amount of TVL coming from that side. Same for XRP to Cardano. We have a very strong relationship there, and I'd like to see XRP DeFi onto Cardano, because that's like over $140 billion of value, and they don't have smart contracts.
Right.
A lot of things, you have to understand, like, what is unique and what's commoditizable. So you have a lot of people that, oh, we do this much TPS and we do that and that. I don't care how big you think your dick is, guys. It's like in 1836 months, people are going to copy you. So differentiating features are things that you can't copy paste. You can't copy paste good governance. You can't copy paste stability and reliability. You can't copy paste a good community. You can't copy paste network effect in real world use cases that the network is being utilized for.
Yeah, Crypto Eddie found that one. What a gem. I don't care how big you're. I don't care.
That was a really good clip.
Someone's just going to copy you. He's like, he talked about the whole tokenization thing. What I like about Charles is he has a way of just being real, expressing a lot I mean, that was a short clip, but he said a lot. Talked about commoditizing, what's duplicatable, what's not duplicatable. Is you can't cut and paste communities. Like, we'll cut and paste this one and put it over here. He's talking about the communities which make all these things tick. You know, XRP, Cardano, passionate communities. Now, the Bitcoin is passionate, but only about one asset. Like they would play the stock market. We only believe in one stock. There's only one stock. The other ones are all garbage. And that's their mentality. And you realize that's just a dumb come from there. It doesn't make any sense long term. If there's only one, there's only can be one. It's not Highland.
Only be one.
There
can only be one.
There can only be one. And you know, it's like, you know, it's not how it works, man. It's not how it works. So
Scotty, how about DeSantis making Florida the crypto capital? That'd be a good idea. We should be the crypto capital of the US. I wanted Byron Donalds to push the crypto message. Byron has been on the forefront, but you know, now running for governor, you know, there's still time. Wait till we get into full-fledged campaign mode for governor. We're going to start seeing probably a lot more of that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And so, you know,
thank Deaton for getting involved in the lawsuit today. That's interesting.
Yeah, I saw him tweet that picture out today of him and Donaldson. He said, "Thanks for stepping up and running against Warren."
Yeah,
what his message was. Now, you know, we talk about Jake Tapper a lot here, and this Jake Tapper, fake Tapper. We like to talk about fake Tapper. The guy that wrote the book about Biden's decline, totally shocked. Meanwhile, he defended him every time someone came in and said, "Look, the guy's not sharp. What are you talking about?" That's the famous one with Lord Trump. And, you know, he's doing his thing. And so, because the whole message of that whole thing was, we need transparency. The White House needs to release all of Trump's records. Yeah. We need to know everything that's going on with Trump 24/7 because we don't want to get duped again. That's the real rub. There's nothing to do with them admitting. They all knew he was a whack job. They knew he wasn't running the White House. They knew they were running the water pen. This is not news to anybody. They pretended because they put party over country. This is who they are. But listen to Jake. This might sound a little startling, but listen to what Jake Fake Tapper says about the left. He brings in a very personal story here, but listen to what he said. I was shocked that he said it, but it's about time he's, you know, call out the big elephant in the room here.
Went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless. And we were talking about my kids because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said he was, you know, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son. Oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And like, you know, that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections.
100%.
Like my football playing son, who has no political views. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. You're deciding he's a racist because he wants to be a cop. And why does he want to be a cop? He wants to be a cop because he wants to help people, you know, and he thinks that's the best way he can help people. And that's how the Democratic Party talks to men, not just white men, but men. And I mean, I get the idea that they thought Tim Walz could, what's the term he used? Code switch or something? He thought that he could translate the Democratic Party values because he hunts and fishes and owns a gun and was in the army and drinks a beer. I mean, at least there was an attempt, but I find it just insane.
Someone else getting red pilled? Is that what's happening?
Well, I don't know if you noticed the other dig he gave. You know, typical, like if you look at the left leaders of Europe, they're all childless. They've got they're morally, you know, corrupt, bankrupt, whatever you want to use. They don't have kids. They're not trying to do better for another generation because they're just a bunch of do-nothings. But he got that dig in early. He said, you know, who are both childless. That's what he said. I went on a left-leaning podcast, which will remain nameless. Okay, we're not going to figure out which one, Jake. But when he said, that's why you effers are losing. Can we pull that quote out of there? You think that's clean enough where we can pull that out of there? Unfortunately, I couldn't find it.
Let's play it again. We have to see.
See if we can.
Went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless, and we were talking about my kids because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said he was, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son. Oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And like, that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections.
100%.
This is why
this
is perfect soundbite. Every time we play a clip of legal leftists, we can play that little clip.
I love that.
And it's fake Tapper. It's great.
I think he's being red pilled.
Well, if you just be real, I mean, you know who else is Chris Como, the governor's brother. Like I listen to him, and he just goes full out like freaking. I mean, look, at some point you get to the point where you go, this doesn't make sense anymore. We're not. It's not a good thing, What do we stand for? For nothing. We don't stand for people anymore. We don't stand for the little guy, for the working men and women. Like, what do you stand for? For the 1%ers, the half 1%ers. Like, what's the point anymore? But I thought that was a really
amazing,
interesting.
How it starts, though. That's how it started with all of them. Every single person that has been red pilled, that's been a big Democrat supporter, they start with that. They're like, what are they thinking? Why are they attacking me? It doesn't make any sense. And then it goes to the next level where more and more what you will probably see him coming out with more commentary like this. And then he's going to start commenting in, out in the open, probably on X or something like that. Similar to, what's his name? The big philanthropist, and he's coming out after Harvard.
Peter Thiel?
No.
Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman.
Bill Ackman. I don't know. I couldn't think of his name. He went through a very similar process, and now look at him. Now he's just like MAGA #1. And it's they all go through this process, and this is where it starts, and they can't believe it. They're in shock, right? But then he's gonna go into that kind of rational or irrational stage where he's not going to believe that these are thoughts coming out of it. And he's going to start, kind of trying to explain away now why he's speaking more right wing. And then all of a sudden, he's going to be conservative and he's going to be attacking them on a regular basis. It's really interesting to see, how this progresses, but he's definitely on the way. So Bill Ackman got there pretty quick.
I think Tapper's about to get fired from the Cartoon News
Probably.
Network. Yeah. Well, maybe he's doing a lot of speaking. I mean, no man worth his salt should vote for Democrats. No anybody worth their salt. I mean, there's nothing. What do they stand for?
Liberty Media. John Malone owns CNN. Malone is conservative, and I think he's going to move the network to the middle or the right. Actually, CNN would be good, like dead center in the middle. Bring it back so it makes them more fun if you're going to have opinion shows, right? Kind of like what was it, Hannity and Combs. Hannity and Combs was always fun to watch because you had like this back and forth, commentary, and Combs, he was just a shock jock, that went politics. So it was always enjoyable to watch that show. He wasn't good on his own. Hannity, was okay to watch, but I kind of lose interest in those talk shows.
I lose interest in Hannity because he repeats the same thing every 20 seconds. I'm like, dude, I can't. I can't.
Yeah, it's too much already.
Yeah, it's too much. And him and Combs, it was fun while it lasted. But that guy, what's his name, Scott, the conservative, the lone conservative on CNN. Those are all the ones that get the poll, like the back and forth, the argument. That's what's interesting to watch. The opinion part of it. Like you said, they think this way, we think this way. The conflict is what people want to see. They don't want to see everybody just like 24/7 digging on Trump. So this he should be arrested and blah blah blah.
Zed brings up another good point. They always start by saying, I still don't like Trump, but I like his team. Or I'm supporting Trump because of this, but I still think, there's always that. That's what Ackman did for a while. And he kept it. And then all of a sudden one day, he's just like, what am I thinking? This is why I support Trump. And it was bizarre. It was like, because we watched the progression, and Chip and I would talk about it every time there was a post.
Just come out and say, come on, just come on and say that there's a lot on the left that were like that were especially in the especially, you know, and all the guys from the All In Pod too. They'll all former leftist. I mean, but Tim Pool makes a really good argument here because this is Tim Pool is solid. Now Tim Pool also was also a Democrat leftist, you know,
Right.
And he's come a long way. So he details it pretty well here.
All of the left. Let's be fair, Tim. That is a very small percentage of people. I can do the same thing with the right. And I can say, look, the right, they're completely insane. Look at these nutbags on Twitter.
You'd be wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
RFK Jr., former liberal. Tulsi Gabbard, former liberal. Donald Trump, former liberal. Elon Musk, former liberal. Colin Wright, former liberal. Tim Pool, former liberal. How is it that the popular vote winner, Donald Trump, was a Democrat up until his first term? That Tulsi Gabbard, DNI, former Democrat, that I supported in 2020. I never voted Republican. I didn't like Republicans. And now the Republican MAGA movement, not the neocons, is an eclectic bunch of diverse views which debate each other. How is it that Charlie Kirk, Christian conservative with one of the largest conservative platforms, invites moderate pro-choice Tim Pool onto his stage for his biggest event of the year to discuss those views to the public? On the left, what do you think would happen if you went and opposed their views at a public forum? You'd be threatened with violence. And I'm not saying literally everyone all the time, but booking liberals to come on my show or any other show, people in this
We
space,
have the same problem.
Yeah.
they refuse to do it.
They don't want to talk.
Back in, I think it was 2018.
But George, we should say why as well. They're scared of their own side.
Yeah.
It's a cult. So I can sit in front of a libertarian like Dave Smith, who's going to rant about how Israel is bad, and Charlie Kirk at the same time, and we leave with beers in our hands, smiles on our faces. And Dave will say, Charlie, I really do appreciate it. I think you do good work. I know we disagree. The left doesn't do that. They firebomb your buildings. Or they just don't show up. Or they try to get you fired. They SWAT you. They harass you. The reason I say it's a cult is because you could not define what they believe. It's impossible. You could not map the logic of their principles or plan for this country.
It's about feelings.
Yeah.
I think it is, but if you break it down, it's largely about adhering to the murmuration. The left swings around randomly in random directions. Nobody knows exactly where they're turning left or right or up or down. They're just trying to make sure they stay safely in a position where someone else won't bludgeon them with a bike lock. So Tesla's a great example. 2 years ago, Stephen Colbert bragged on his show he owns a Tesla. Today, he's making jokes about how it's funny that people are firebombing them. Well, that don't make sense.
The irrational. They're so irrational.
This is the whole thing. It's like you don't stand for anything. They're going to get destroyed in the midterms. I actually think the end of the Democrat Party is coming up because you cannot continue to be that tone deaf and still go 100 miles an hour in the same direction. Like it's not a sustainable thing. It's almost like people just don't understand us. We got to go harder with the message. The nuclear logic bombs right there. It says DNI. Right there, baby. DNI.
DNI. Man, good to see you here with us.
DNI.
What did that guy say? What's that? He's definitely legendary. Legendary guest. What did that guy call them? Nut sacks? I like that. We call people nut sacks.
I just picture anytime you ask any questions, the man on the street, woman on the street interviews where they're asking them questions, they always react to this in this way where they start getting angry. But it's I remember back in the day, I used to tell my great grandfather, he used to talk to me about the insane asylums he used to have. There were a lot of them. People were depressed. They would put them in these asylums and I don't know, do experiments on them or something. I don't know what they did, but we don't have enough places for mentally ill people in this country anymore. Like there's so many mentally ill people and they're like, geez, I don't know what's going on with this person. They're mentally ill, dude. That's the whole point. Liberalism is a mental disorder. The sooner we recognize it, the better we'll all be. Just like, hey, have a little compassion in your heart that they're a little cuckoo.
They're definitely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They're just nutbags. I mean, there's just no other way to discuss it. But I think it's time for that drawing. We only have 18. I was hoping we could get to 20.
All right, hang on. Well, we're going to get to
Before we do that, I'm going to play one thing. This is JD Vance at Bitcoin 2025. I watched the whole speech. It was very good. But here's JD at Bitcoin 2025.
Crypto is a hedge against bad policymaking from Washington, no matter what party is in control. It's a hedge against skyrocketing inflation, which has eroded the savings rate of Americans over the last 4 years. And as you all know well, it's a hedge against a private sector that's increasingly willing to discriminate against consumers on the basis of their basic beliefs, including their politics. That includes, of course, debanking users for Second Amendment advocacy or for ties to the first Trump administration. In Canada, the government did the same to kill those big truck driver protests in 2022. Less than a week later, they succeeded. The protests were over. But maybe most importantly, I see crypto as a hedge against one of the most dangerous trends in the digital era in both the public and private sectors. And that's of elites who, rather than innovate themselves, prefer to simply take over and co-opt cutting-edge technologies to assert their control over other people. And I know we believe this in this room. That's not Bitcoin. It'll never be Bitcoin, and you guys are going to make sure that happens.
He also went on to give like 3 pointers and things. He said that a lot of the left gravitates towards AI, and he said it's just an observation. It's not 100% spot on, but he also said that a lot of folks who are very conservative or, right-leaning really go towards, crypto, Bitcoin. And he said, like, keep vigilant and everything else. And he kind of made that sort of comparison, but his whole speech was great. I recommend you listening to it. That was just one expert. There are actually better points of that. He also said that because people got involved in government and because they took a stand about pro-crypto, they made a huge difference. In the election cycle, talked a lot about, but it was a really well-done speech. And you see why this guy, think about any other VP, right? You think about Pence, you think, they're all forgettable. JD is not forgettable. JD gets up and commands an audience. If Pence was up there, he'd be like, who knows? Never liked that dude. Always hated him. Always thought he was and he was like such a fake ass kisser too. He's like, President Trump is the greatest president in the world. It just didn't even make sense, like the way he would like bloviate on the topic. But this is a whole different administration, and it took a guy like Trump to put someone like a Tulsi Gabbard, right? Who she got ousted by her own freaking party. She, you want to look at like how she took Warren down in the 2020 debates. She crucified her. She also took down AOC. Like she was brutally on, and they basically ousted her from the party. It's kind of like she was an outcast. But you look at one of the most famous family names, the Kennedys. You have Bobby Kennedy, who, everyone loved the Kennedys on the left until Bobby Kennedy went off and stopped his campaign and endorsed Trump. What did they do? Well, they fought to keep him on the ballot on states because they wanted people to be left in the dark and still vote for him and take the votes away from Trump. This is the kind of people, and you saw how he was out of anybody, Jeff. I don't see, I've seen some of those hearings have been rough for confirmation. None of them was worse than Bobby Kennedy's. His confirmation, they were brutal. They were out for blood. These are the people who used to embrace the Kennedys, who loved the Kennedys. And it kills Bobby because he's like, I'm a Democrat. This is my whole life. My father, my uncle, this has been my whole world. And it's amazing how horribly they have treated him. Just insane.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
still awake.
Oh, you're ready for? All right, we're gonna play the Yeti commercial, the Yeti trailer, and then we're gonna do the poll. And we got 19 in here. So as soon as that ends, we are gonna do the drawing, guys.
So here we go.
Make it happen, Jeff.
Roll it.
With a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe. Word of the day, Yeti. You got your Zarman wallet ready. Why? 'Cause this is gonna be epic. It's time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe Yeti. On the chain. Badass Yetis born for battle, made for legend claim. Yours all be forgotten.
Man,
You know,
name yours or be forgotten.
Scotty says some Saudi prince bought 121 million of XRP today for a trust fund. That's one person. King
Damn.
says he's here. Syncopated
Alright.
beats rule, says Chad. Eli Brown says I'm queer. I'm not sure this is the show for it. But okay. Okay. You're not Fjorgen around. Oh, clever. Fjorgen. You tell it pronounced Fjorgen? Fjorgen! Meanwhile, half the time it mispronounces the most.
Rib.
Scotty, I tried to get their
Huge
thoughts
rib,
on that.
if
But
you
I don't
rib.
go. 121 billion is a big deal. Don't bother. I'm winning, says Crypto Whelp. You know why? Because you stayed up.
That's right.
There you go. He says he's just kidding. He's just kidding. Okay, Eli Brown says he just wanted to see if he could put something outlandish and get it up there. Eli Brown. Duh.
I didn't see Ellie Brown or Eli Brown put in a
Fjorgen
Yeti.
around. Fjorgen out. Fjorgen around. Fjorgen out. No, you can't be out yet. DNI, you gotta put your type in Yeti there so you have a chance to win this, dude.
It's your Yeti.
Come on,
Badass
DNI.
Yeti.
You're not out yet. Fjorgen around, Fjorgen out. No.
All right.
Too early.
Drink
Drink coffee. All right, here we go. Here we go. Ready, guys? Here we
Bring it
go.
up.
Put the Badass Yeti song on, and I will
Okay. There.
put it up, and we will do
I
the
can
poll.
play that
We'll
one
see
all
who
over
wins.
again. I could have that run in the background. Or we can just have the Badass Yeti.
The Badass Yeti one. Here we go. Ready? Here we go, guys. Oh, we got best. Oh, someone got a late one in there. Might have been Eli Brown got one there. So we have a 1 in 20 chance of winning. This is fantastic. Let's go. Yeah. Legendary. Legendary wins the Badass Yeti Fjord. No Fjorgen around. All right, Legendary, you here? Huzzah. Nice. Yes, nice. Just missile explosion, DOD. Okay, there you go. Yeti. Smooth. Congratulations, Legendary. Legendary is here. Now, Legendary, we need your X handle as well, so that we can put that out there. You got Fjorgen, man.
Legendary.
Fjorgen, legend. You know what we have to do is we have to take the one where he's like with all the still and put that up here.
Yes.
Where he's got all the lights and stuff.
That'd be a good one.
That's pretty cool.
Here.
Reroll.
All right.
Here. Art, come on, man. He checked in. He said he's here. Art, no, don't care. He wants to do it. He's like, let's go again. Congratulations.
All right, I gotta pump YouTube. Hang on a minute.
Quick like a Yeti. Quick like a Yeti. Longiorno. There it is, dude. There's the address, baby.
Yeah.
Rigged. Said it first. Yeah, you were the first one to say it. We usually hear rigged a lot. People are like, oh, Legendary. It's cool. So this is great. We'll
All right, there we go.
Throw that
Now,
over.
There it is. I found it. Oh, let me mute. Pause. I found it. And Chad Nauseum is #1 in the community at the moment.
He's always #1 in the community. Seems like he's always #1.
The Whelp is #3. Here we go.
What about #2?
There is no #2.
It sounds like Michael Saylor. There's no #2. There's no #2.
You
There's
are
only one.
You are #8. Who is #1? I am a free man. I am not a number. Is it the other way around? All right, here we go. Did you ever see The Prisoner? That
Yeah.
show? Yes. I love that show.
Yeah, I've been to the set. I went to where they filmed that.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to transfer. Logging in. Good. Momentarily. Hold on a minute. Scanning it. Getting ready to transfer it. And And off it goes. Wait. There we go. Transfer's been submitted, verifying, and sent. Successfully submitted. Legendary,
deal.
now the proud owner of Badass Yeti number 224, which is Bjorn of the Frostbeards. Bjorn. That's right. Bjorn of the Frostbeards.
Yo.
Bjorn.
Langord is number 3. 3, I say. 3. I thought I was number 2, but then disappeared. Damn. Yeah, I always hate when that happens. These Yetis are rare as F. I want one badly. Don't worry, Eli. Keep showing up, man. You'll get one. You'll get one. But if you do want to go get one and pick one up, you know where to go. You go to Badass. You go to xrp.cafe and you can go get one over there. You can always mint one. Or you can purchase one for some XRP and you can find out exactly the one you want, which is always a good thing too.
Legendary Dave.
Here, since we're talking about the Blue Tribe, you go to XRP Cafe and type in Badass Yetis. You can get these now. Check these out. These are selling less than the mint. Mint is 16. Here, people selling them for 9 XRP. So for 9 XRP, you can buy these under cost because people are just selling them. There's 16 is what it would cost to mint one. But if you wanted to, you could see the exact one you could purchase. You connect your wallet, you go buy one.
That's it.
There you have it.
It's easy squeezy.
Yeah. Some people are saying, hell no, you're not getting my Yeti. I'm selling this one for 7,500 XRP. This one's 4,000. Yeah, you want to play? That's how it works, dude. This one's 10,000 XRP, dude. This one's 589, 58,900 XRP. And it's only 266 rare. This one's 5 on the rare, but it's 7,500. There you have it. So if you want, you can go and buy some Yetis. And there you have it. All right. What about Legendary? Did we get your X handle, dude?
We did. We got his X handle. We got everything.
He's
all set.
I guess it's time to bid thee farewell. My God, this week is flying by. We are going to be broadcasting at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. And we're coming into a new month. We're almost in the month of June here. Amazing. Amazing, I say. So that's all we have, Jeff.
All we got. We are pretty much out here.
Chip and Jeff and Fjord.
Fjord.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.